All right. So coming into Mailsack, this is the part of the show where we finally get to talk about our company. Stephen and I own Max and Stephen's Premium Hemp Extracts, and this segment, Mailsack, is when customers reach out to us or anecdotal stories about usage of our product, etc., etc. So when Stephen and I typically prepare, we go through some of these things, and I had a query from a customer.
Yeah, I want to definitely make sure we talk about this because it's an issue that a lot of people have, and customer reached out to us, and what she said was, so Max, you mentioned that there is a sweet spot that I would find. What does that mean?
Yeah, very interesting.
Right?
So, yeah. And so she reached out. It's a very legitimate question that we get very often. So the sweet spot, it's interesting. You're talking about a plant. You're not talking about a pharmaceutical. Everybody's body is different. Everybody reacts in a different way. Everybody has a different result. CBD is biphasic, which we don't talk about nearly enough. But
that's a big word for you,
it's
Max.
a big
That's
word for me.
scientific.
Thank you. And what it means is that different things affect your body at different dosage in general. Well, so her question was, what's the sweet spot dose for her? And what we always recommend is, because, again, we can't predict how everybody's going to react, we suggest starting very low and be consistent about it. Stick with it about 7 to 10 days, about a week. See how your body feels. If your body feels like it could use it a little bit more, use a little bit more by all means. If for whatever reason you feel like you need to tone it back a little bit, tone it back. Remember, there is no lethal dose and there is no harmful effect. At the end of the day, it's just about the way that this plant interacts with your body. And what most people find is not only does it help them with the stuff that's very obvious to them, but many times it helps them with things that they never had an understanding that they had a problem with.
Yeah.
Such as people take it for things like arthritis pain and then realize that they're actually sleeping better as a result.
Yeah.
So the moral of that story is stick with it. You will find that sweet spot, and eventually you'll come back to us and let us know what that is.
Yeah, and in finding the sweet spot, as Max mentioned, it could be different things that you've noticed, so be open-minded and play with it. That means you may try what we suggest, starting with a small serving. As it grows, you may try backing down sometimes a serving just to see where that sweet spot is. So it does take a little bit of time to do it, and
or increasing the frequency. Sometimes what people find is if they do it more often throughout the day. I believe you use it that way.
That's how I use it.
Yeah.
I mean, I use small servings. I'm a big fan of a quarter of a milliliter, and I do that as needed throughout the day. Sometimes it's 4 times, sometimes it's 5 times, sometimes it may be twice. Because if you're not thinking about whatever it is that your issue might be, and it's not becoming a problem, or it works.
You have to notice the subtleties.
Right.
Notice the subtleties.
Right. So, but now it is a Mailsack day, but we're talking about pets here. So, Max, we got any pet stories we can share?
Yeah, a couple. So, I mean, other than our own stories about our own furry friends, and everybody that's been listening knows that Steven's dogs, Nilla and Coco, use our product, and my dogs, Rufus and Reginald, use our products, and they both love
Reginald.
it. Reginald, that's
his
his aristocrat name, right? Right, Mrs. Mailsack, right. So I have a story, because I was at, I saw recently a relative that's going to be doing an extended trip across country, and she's got an older dog. Dog's about 17 years old. Getting up there in age, and the dog gets very anxious before it gets in the car. I'm sure, even Shorty can relate to that, and so can you. And she was asking, how do I make that dog a little bit less anxious? So CBD is certainly something to consider. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
Right?
And a lot of people have questions about dosing on CBD for yourself or pets, and we have it on our website. We can also share it another way, but it has a dosing chart, which was beautifully designed, and it helps people understand where to start if you generally have different types of conditions, and same for humans and pets. So for humans, we would say a quarter of a milliliter as a dropper, and pets are much more sensitive.
Right, much more sensitive.
So you're talking about 1 or 2 drops. And actually, we didn't get to this with Shorty, but one of the when we sent him a bottle the first time, someone put a whole dropper. I just gave the dog a whole dropper.
But it's important to mention that the dog just got tired and relaxed.
And good news, there's no lethal dose.
There's no lethal dose.
So we've been back to your biphasic comment, whereas you take a little bit, you get one result. You take a little more, you get a different result. If you're getting too drowsy from CBD, it may be a sign you're taking too much.